My name is Max Hartt. I'm an academic interested in population change and how these changes shape our communities. Before I begin, I want to be perfectly honest about one thing. I'm an unbridled optimist. As such, I love the future. The future's new, the future's exciting, the future's full of possibility. Yeah, future. But I think it's important that we differentiate when we talk about desiring a better future. I think it's important we differentiate between a better today and a better tomorrow. Put another way, we need to distinguish between reacting to the challenges of today and preparing for the challenges of tomorrow. Let me illustrate this with an example. In the late 80s and early 90s, school enrollment increased as the children of the baby boom generation, known as the baby boom echo, entered the school system. In response, portable classrooms were built across the country, and in many communities, new elementary schools were approved and built. However, elementary enrollment peaked in 1999, and over the next 5 years, over 250 elementary schools were closed in Ontario alone. Some of these were due to aging infrastructure and some consolidation, but mostly due to declining enrollment. And if you stop and think about it, we should have been able to know this was going to happen. We know how many children are born each year. We know how many enter the school system, so we should have a rough idea how that's going to proceed. So the lesson here is that when we talk about desiring a better future, we need to have an idea of what the future looks like. We need to prepare and anticipate rather than react. So what does the future look like? I was racking my brain about this a little bit, and I thought the best way that we can find out is to do a little time travel, if you'll come with me. So in a second, we're all going to move to 2038. So just prepare yourself. You ready? Whoa. So we're here. So soak it in, that futuristic air. Take a look around. Think of what's different. What might be different? Well, for one, we've probably mostly traveled here by hypertube. And those of us who didn't probably have electric cars hovering quietly in the parking lot. And it goes without saying, of course, we're all wearing matching futuristic silver jumpsuits with the V-stripe and the moon boots, you know? Yeah, exactly. So some changes like fashion and technology, they're a bit hard to predict. But one thing that I'm quite certain of in 2038 is that we'll all be older. And not just as individuals, but as a society. Way back in 2017, since we're in 2038, the Canadian population was already aging. 1/5 of the Canadian population was already 65 years of age or older. Here today, in beautiful 2038, that population has gone up to 25%. In New Brunswick, the numbers are even higher. In 2038, it's expected that 1/3 of New Brunswick's population will be 65 years of age or older. Wow, right? 1/3. So what happened? Where are all the young people, all those young whippersnappers with their Walkmans and their doodads? Well, the baby boomer generation grew up and they retired. Birth rates stayed predominantly below the replacement rate for decades, and young people, like myself in 2017, were more mobile than ever and able to move from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia to Toronto or Boston or Dublin. So now we have an idea what the future looks like. So if you bear with me, we had to travel back in time, back to 2017. We've got things to do, so. Whew, what a trip, right? So we're back. Now we have an idea what the future looks like. The future is old, and that affects all of us. So what are some of the challenges that might come from this? Well, for one, there could be serious labor shortages as more and more people retire. And as they retire, income tax revenues will decrease, and the government could face some serious financial issues. Pension systems could dry up as more goes out than comes in, and it could become increasingly difficult for the government to provide health support to the aging population. It's pretty grim. But as I said at the onset, I am an optimist. And I said, once we know what the changes are and what the challenges are, we can start to work towards them. So one resolution that can contribute directly to all these challenges is to encourage those 65 and over to stay engaged in the community through work and through volunteerism. One approach from a pragmatic standpoint is for public and private pension plans to remove disincentives to people working longer and start to include phased-in retirement. This will allow the government to continue to collect tax revenues and reduce expenditures on pensions. Furthermore, it will prevent labor shortages and allow for important intergenerational knowledge and expertise exchange. There's so much we can learn from the generations that came before us. And I think we need that interpersonal connection and collaboration to really facilitate those relationships. And lastly, and I think most importantly, late life work has been shown to have a positive effect on health and well-being. And that's what we're after, happy and healthy population. I do think that it's really important to note for a second that when often we talk about old, the benchmark is 65 and above. But a lot of people these days, at 65 don't feel old. As I say, old isn't what it used to be. I'm very happy my father could be here tonight, and he is turning 70 this summer. So a quick round of applause. Yeah, Dougie. And when he's not on his bike, on his kayak, or on the ice playing hockey, he still plays a couple times a week, he's off traveling the world. He's coming to see his son give public lectures. And he's a great example of how we are living longer and we are living better. And that's something to be really excited about and something to be celebrated. So in conclusion, the aging of the Canadian population is well underway, and with it, we've already started to see some challenges. And those challenges are just going to get bigger as it goes on, as the change gets bigger. And if mishandled, this could have serious economic, cultural, and social ramifications. But like the school example, we have to remember, this isn't unexpected. This isn't some disaster that comes out of nowhere. We know the change, we know the challenges, and we can work towards this. And I believe that by encouraging Canadians of all ages to work and play together, we can help our economy and help build an age-friendly Canada. If the different levels of government, private firms, and nonprofits can work together in a transparent and meaningful way, we can ensure that every Canadian has a happy and healthy future. So the future of Canada may be aging, but we need to remember that with age comes experience, insight, and wisdom. And considering the current global political climate, I think we can use all the insight and wisdom that we can get. Thank you.